Assalamu alaikum. In this and the next video, we are going to identify managers' challenges and opportunities in applying OB, that is, organizational behavior concepts, followed by the comparison of the three levels of analysis in developing an OB model. Understanding organizational behavior has never been more important for managers. If we take a quick look at the dramatic changes that have occurred in organizations, the typical employee is getting older, more women and people of color are in the workplace now. Corporate downsizing and the heavy use of temporary workers are severing the bonds of loyalty that tied many employees to their employers. Global competition requires employees to become more flexible and cope with rapid change. The global recession has brought to the forefront the challenges of working with and managing people during uncertain times. In short, today's challenges bring opportunities for managers to use OB concepts. The first challenge is responding to economic pressures. During difficult economic times, effective management is often at a premium. Anybody can run a company when business is booming because the difference between good and bad management reflects the difference between making a lot of money and making a lot more money. When times are bad, though, managers are on the front lines with employees who must be fired, who are asked to make do with less, and who worry about their futures. The difference between good and bad management can be the difference between profit and loss, or ultimately between survival and failure. Managing employees well when times are tough is just as hard as when times are good, if not more so. But the OB approaches sometimes differ. In good times, understanding how to reward, satisfy, and retain employees is at a premium. In bad times, issues like stress, decision making, and coping come to the fore. And we have the biggest example of such turbulent economic situation in front of us, brought upon in the wake of COVID 19 throughout the world. Then, responding to globalization. Organizations are no longer constrained by national borders. The world has become a global village. In this process, the manager's job has changed. सबसे पहले we are going to look at increased foreign assignments. If you're a manager, you are increasingly likely to find yourself in a foreign assignment, transferred to our employer's operating division or subsidiary in another country. Once you're there, you'll have to manage a workforce very different in needs, aspirations, and attitudes from those you are used to back home. Working with people from different cultures, the next point. Even in your own country, you'll find yourself working with bosses, peers, and other employees born and raised in different cultures. Then, overseeing movement of jobs to countries with low cost labor. It's increasingly difficult for managers in advanced nations where minimum wages are quite high to compete against firms that rely on workers from China and other developing nations where labor is available for as low as 30 cents an hour. In a global economy, jobs tend to flow where lower costs give businesses a comparative advantage, though labor groups, politicians, and local community leaders see the exporting of jobs as undermining the job market at home. Managers face the difficult task of balancing the interests of their organization with their responsibilities to the communities in which they operate. The second challenge is the third challenge, sorry. The second challenge is managing workforce diversity. One of the most important challenges for organizations is adapting to people who are different. We describe this challenge as workforce diversity, whereas globalization focuses on differences among people from different countries. Workforce diversity addresses differences among people within the given countries. Workforce diversity acknowledges a workforce of women and men, many racial and ethnic groups, individuals with a variety of physical and psychological abilities, and people who differ in age and orientation. Managing this diversity is a global concern. The next challenge, improving customer service. Many organizations today are failing because their employees are failing to please customers. Management needs to create a customer responsive culture, especially in a service sector organization. OB or organizational behavior can provide considerable guidance in helping managers create such cultures in which employees are friendly and courteous, accessible, knowledgeable, and prompt in responding to customer needs, and also willing to do what's necessary to please the customer. The next challenge, improving people skills. Now, people skills are at the heart of a manager's job. It's a challenge to learn ways to design motivating jobs and techniques for improving your listening skills and how to create more effective teams. So, that's all about people skills, and people skills is all what organizational behavior is about. The next challenge, stimulating innovation and change. Today's successful organizations must foster innovation and master the art of change, or they'll become candidates for extinction. Victory will go to the organizations that maintain their flexibility, continually improve their quality, and beat their competition to the marketplace with a constant stream of innovative products and services. Coping with temporariness. Globalization, expanded capacity, and advances in technology have required organizations to be fast and flexible if they are to survive. The result is that most managers and employees today work in a climate best categorized as temporary. Workers must continually update their knowledge and skills to perform new job requirements. In the past, employees were assigned to a specific work group, gaining a considerable amount of security, working with the same people day in and day out. That predictability has been replaced by temporary work groups with members from different departments and the increased use of employee rotation to fill constantly changing work assignments. Finally, organizations themselves are in a state of flux. They continually reorganize their various divisions, sell off poorly performing businesses or divisions, downsize operations, subcontract non critical services and operations to other organizations, and replace permanent employees with temporary workers. Then another challenge is working in a networked organization. Networked organizations allow people to communicate and work together even though they may be thousands of miles apart. Independent contractors can telecommute via computer to workplaces around the globe and change employers as the demand for their services changes. Software programmers, graphic designers, systems analysts, technical writers, photo researchers, book and media editors, and medical transcribers are just a few examples of people who can work from home or other non office locations. The manager's job is different in a networked organization, motivating and leading people and making collaborative decisions online requires different techniques than when individuals are physically present in a single location. The next challenge is helping employees balance their work life conflicts. The typical employee in the 1960s or 70s showed up at a specific or specified workplace Monday through Friday and worked for a clearly defined period, 8 hours or 9 hours. That's no longer true or for a large segment of today's workforce. Employees are increasingly complaining that the line between work and non work time has become blurred, creating personal conflicts and stress. At the same time, today's workplace presents opportunities for workers to create and structure their own roles. So, there are, of course, both pros and cons to this aspect. Creating a positive work environment, although competitive pressures on most organizations are stronger than ever, some organizations are trying to realize a competitive advantage by fostering a positive work environment. A real growth area in OB research is positive organizational scholarship, and it's also called as positive organizational behavior. It studies how organizations develop human strengths, foster vitality and resilience, and unlock potential. Then, improving ethical behavior as the last challenge. In an organizational world characterized by cutbacks, expectations of increasing productivity, and tough competition, it's not surprising that many employees feel pressured to cut corners, break rules, and engage in other questionable practices. Increasingly, they face ethical dilemmas and ethical choices in which they are required to identify right and wrong conduct. Today's manager must create an ethically healthy climate for his or her employees where they can do their work productively with minimal ambiguity about what is right and what is wrong and what the right and wrong behaviors are. Companies that promote a strong ethical mission encourage employees to behave with integrity and produce strong ethical leadership can influence employee decisions to behave ethically. That will be it for this video as regards the challenges and opportunities for OB are concerned. Thank you.